Hey guys, Eggerbeast here bringing you some Search and Destroy gameplay. A whole bunch of random rounds from Search and Destroy that I think I did pretty good in. First one here is on some high rise. There were a couple of boosters in this lobby, so I thought this was pretty cool. I get a 3-piece on the guys at the end here, clutching out the round for my team. And, these are the moments that are fun in Search and Destroy when you get rounds like this. Unfortunately, I didn't get any outstanding Search and Destroy gameplays for you guys, but I got a whole bunch of rounds that I did pretty dang good in. So, here you guys go. Enjoy some of these while I commentate over them. In the first round, basically we had this one guy on our team who would sit in the corner of the map the entire round, waiting for all of us to die off while his teammates waited for us to kill them all. And then he would just snipe all the enemy team to get all the kills for himself, which was frustrating, but you know what happens. But in this second clip right here, this is some Search and Destroy on Terminal, and this is a nice clutch I get with the UMP-45. I think I'm using steady aim instead of ninja in this one, and that's a mistake. When playing Search and Destroy, ninja is a must. I don't think there's any other perk that you can really justify using in search, simply because the fact that if you can sound horror in search, you'll be very, very, very effective. I find that a lot of people in this game run Commando Pro and Search and Destroy because they're quick scopers, or they'll run something like Steady Aim or Last Stand because they like to rush. But if you can learn how to use Ninja to your advantage, you can really destroy some people. I think later on with this class, I switched it up and put Ninja on here. So, but overall, definitely use Ninja over Steady Aim and Search and Destroy. Another thing I think is really critical for Search and Destroy is Marathon. Let's go over the first tier perks and rank their effectiveness. Scavenger, I would say, is the least effective first tier perk. You are never going to run out of ammo in any normal situation in Search and Destroy. Pick up a nice kill there. Because of that, you don't need Scavenger. Another perk that's really ineffective is Sleight of Hand unless you're trying to snipe, because the base perk of Sleight of Hand is just that you reload faster, and when you're only engaging 1 or 2 enemies at a time, it really isn't necessary unless you're using a gun with a really low ammo capacity, like the Scar H. Then maybe Sleight of Hand is a valid option, but other than that, I'd say that the best first tier perk choice would be Marathon, because one-man army I just really can't recommend because, you know, people abuse one-man army. Pick up another guy right there. And, it's one of those perks that's just very frustrating to deal with. And what's the last blue perk? I believe it is Marathon. I don't remember the last first tier perk, but that's okay. But I just say that Marathon is the best one, simply because the ability to have unlimited sprint is huge. But at this point, I'm planting the bomb, trying to win the game here, and, well, win the round, really. But I treat every Search and Destroy round like it's its own game, simply because it's just a lot of fun to play that way. I don't like to sit around and wait for the enemies to come to me, usually. Other than at the start, if I know up against some noob tubers, I'll let them shoot off the rounds, and when I know they're reloading, I'll pop out. That's one of the advantages of having a headset. You can know when the enemy's reloading, and that kill right there would not have gotten if I hadn't heard this guy's footsteps walking up behind me. So, in a couple of situations, I have some clips of these guys saying, how did he know where I was? I was, like, not moving. I didn't shoot my gun or whatnot, and, that's what a headset does for you. I'm not going to overplay it and say the headset is like God mode echolocation, but if you learn how to use it, you can be very, very effective with a headset. Now, in this third round here, I'm using the UMP again. I can't remember if I had switched up to Ninja at this point or not, but I pick up a nice double kill off the spawn here with the UMP, and that's what the UMP is good for in search. Unfortunately, that's what the UMP is bad for right there. Is it's bad for getting more than 2 people in a single clip, because it's a low ammo capacity and a really long reload. So you want to be able to fall back in your secondary, and that's why I use the M93 Rafika, because it has a good balance of firepower and swap time, in my opinion. And those 2 traits alone make for a very powerful secondary weapon. Notice how I don't call him my UAV yet. I know there's only 1 or 2 guys left alive at this point, and when you know that, there really isn't too much advantage using your UAV then, simply because you're only getting the location of 1 person with UAV if you call it in at the end of a round. Always try and save your UAVs for the start of the round unless you're the last alive and you know you're up against more than 1 person. In that situation, I'd say go ahead and try and use it late on in the round. But I pick up the final kill there, and we jump into the round right after this. At this point, I think I'm like 5-1, so that was a 4-piece in Search and Destroy, which is not exactly the best, the most impressive clip, but I don't get too many 4-pieces in Search and Destroy, so I found it was kind of cool. And so, yeah, at the start of the round, you always want to call in your kill streaks if you can. user-controlled kill streaks like the Predator missile, the Pablo, can't be called in for, I believe, 10 seconds after this round has started, and I don't blame them. Getting a quick, instant 5-piece off the spawn of a search and destroy would be no fun, but I pick up the final guy across the way, and that's what the UMP is good for. Generally, I have 2 search and destroy classes. One of them is a submachine gun with lightweight. The other is a submachine gun with stopping power. When I'm using a stopping power submachine gun, I want to point out why I turned around there. He jumped down, and even when you have Commando Pro, you make a squishing sound when you drop down. So I heard that guy behind me, and I was able to turn around and kill him before he was able to kill me. But yeah, generally in Search and Destroy, I like to use stopping power on a high-powered submachine gun like the UMP, and I'll use lightweight on a weapon like the P90, which I actually end up using in a couple clips later on. And it generally works out a little bit better if you have your weapons with the high damage using stopping power and your low damage ones using a lightweight, because the lightweight submachine gun lets you move faster, and when you have a fast rate of fire, it doesn't really matter how much damage your bullets do as long as you're somewhat accurate with your shots. The first shots are important in Search and Destroy because a lot of people like to snipe, and if you can just throw off the sniper's aim for that first bullet, then you'll generally be able to win the gunfight. Another thing that's really helpful in Search and Destroy is learning how different materials sound when people walk over them. That's something that not a lot of people know how to do, and it's a skill that you acquire over time. In this third round, I'm using the P90 with lightweight again, and this one has Ninja on it for sure. And definitely this is my go-to Search and Destroy class. I don't get as many good clips as I do with the UMP, simply because the UMP is probably a better weapon than the P90. But for just a submachine gun I like to run around and have fun with, the P90 is probably the best. I like to use it with the silencer, and notice how I turn around that way. It's because I heard him coming from the left. I know what it sounds like when you walk across the snow over here. So there was only one place on the map that I could hear him from where I had snow. It was either from my right or to my left. And because generally people don't run across the middle of the map, you can pretty much assume that they're going to the left there. I think the guy that I heard right there actually went to the right there, so that's actually kind of funny and a fail. But learning how to use your headset is critical in Search and Destroy. I can't stress that enough. If you don't have a headset in Search and Destroy, you can quite easily get killed in ways that you never would have had a chance to know the enemy was there. Like right here, notice my decision here. I saw that guy was using lightweight. I could tell by how fast he was moving, so I know he's going to be coming through here really fast. So don't sprint up and meet him. I wait for him, and I let my hip fire kill him. But yeah, that's one of the things that you just learn over time, is to determine what perk they're using based on what weapon he was using. I thought he was using a submachine gun, so there are 2 perks that he probably would have been using. Actually 3, maybe cold-blooded, lightweight, and stopping power. But any reasonable person would know that you don't use cold-blooded at the start of a Search and Destroy game, simply because you're not going to get the same advantage that you would out of there. I don't know if you noticed it, but I increased the volume of the game sound there, and I can probably increase it a little bit more. I was just showing, this one guy said, how did he see me? I don't understand it. But we switch over to the third part of this, and I'm using my same class here. This time it's on some Favela. Favela is a map that you can really be effective with rushing and Search and Destroy. I see this guy places a claymore, so I don't chase him. I go around the other way. I realize you can only have 1 claymore without 1 man arming it up. So I let him place the claymore, so I know I'm good on the other side, and I just destroy him. I don't know exactly where this guy went at this point, so I decided to jump down and try and play it safe, and I destroy him with a headshot. And that's what you have to learn how to do in Search. If you can learn how to understand how to play the maps in such a way that you can get a route that most people wouldn't expect you to take, you can dominate in Search and Destroy. Because it's a one-life situation, people will play a lot more defensive, and that allows you to play aggressive in a way that they would not expect. A lot of people run an assault rifle with a silencer like the ACR, or they'll run a sniper rifle in Search and Destroy and try to quickscope and be Grizz. If you can leverage that to your advantage and maneuver the map in such a way that you know that you can have the advantage in most gunfights, and just basically jump around them using lightweight and marathon, you can have a serious advantage over the enemy players. When you combine that with a headset, you can pretty much just do this constantly. I had a couple other rounds in this game that were not quite as good, got 1 or 2 kills in them. But anyways, guys, this gameplay is winding down. It's a bunch of clips. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm MW2, and I'm signing out, and catch you guys in the next video.